10 ways to guarantee your shift to 5D. The solar flash ascension is happening as we speak. It is a process, and we are in it, and you need to know specific actions that you will need to take in order to help guarantee your shift into the fifth dimension. We'll get into these 10 ways in the video. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, first thing I need you to do is I need you to subscribe to this channel. And I need you to comment, like, and if you like these videos, please put them in your Facebook posts, put them on your Instagram, your Twitter, that kind of stuff. Help get the word out, because this shift is happening now and people do need to know what they can do in order to make this shift. It's a very challenging experience. You would think, oh, we're going to go and experience heaven on earth. It'll be blissful. Well, it will be, but the shift from 3D mindset to 5D mindset, there's actually things that we need to know. And for some people, it can be very challenging. So this is a way to not only experience the shift more smoothly, but guarantee that you will accomplish your place in that. So this is the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. I do also have a channel on Rumble. Please go there and subscribe there, as there are things that I talk about on that channel that I can't talk about on YouTube because of their regulations. And of course, Interdimensional Revolution is my book. Go to Amazon, Kindle, or Audible for that. All right. So let's talk about the 5D shift. 10 ways to guarantee your shift to 5D. So the solar flash ascension process is happening right now. Actually, solar flash is not the most accurate term for what is happening. What we can really call it is the solar wave event. It is a continuous process whereby the sun right now is sending pulses of solar radiation to the earth, and it's coming in waves. And that is important, because if we were to be hit with, what you would think when you hear the word solar flash, if we were to be hit with an immediate, just like solar flash of energy that would push people up to the fifth dimension, it would be so traumatic for almost every human that, anyway, it'd be an extremely traumatic experience, because this is a major, major shift. It's a complete shift on all levels. Society is going to completely, totally, utterly flip. It's going to shift. There's no longer is there going to be governments, militaries, banks, police, none of that stuff. We're not going to be, even money. Money is going to go away. So in order for us to get to that place, you can imagine it's going to take a little bit of shifting to do that. So it might take who knows how long to get to that ultimate place. But there's going to be a radical shift, definitely within the next months and years, the immediate months and years for sure. So we're going to talk about 10 ways to guarantee your shift to the fifth dimension. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. The first way is to create a personal relationship with the power inside the sun. So let me explain to you what this is. Now, this is not on, I want to be clear, this isn't something that I read somewhere. I'm not going and searching YouTube or Googling what is the solar flash event and what does it mean. I am sharing with you not only what I am personally experiencing at the moment, but what was revealed to me by higher dimensional beings. So I only share with you things that I can personally vouch for. So the first way is to create a personal relationship with the power inside the sun. So if you're familiar with this term, the solar flash, you know that what's going to happen is that higher vibrational energy that is actually coming from the center of our galaxy, that energy is going to then make its way to the sun, and we could make a whole video on how that's going to happen. But there's going to be a quantum connection between the center of our galaxy and the sun. So there's going to be a higher vibrational energy that's going to make its way into the sun, and then the sun is going to release that energy to Earth by means of solar flares, solar storms, solar radiation, coronal mass ejections. This is how the sun is going to be releasing this energy to the Earth. Now, when this energy hits the Earth, it is going to find its way in the cracks of the electromagnetic field surrounding Earth, which is going through a shift. We are going through an electromagnetic event at the moment where the poles of our magnetosphere is shifting. It's probably not going to make a complete shift, but these incursion events, I think they're called, happens quite often. And what happens is the magnetosphere shifts around, and what happens is the magnetosphere itself becomes much thinner than normal. So you combine that with extra energy coming from the sun, and you have a lot of solar radiation making its way to the planet. So I want to get rid of all the fear mongering. There's not going to be a massive Earth, extinction event. That is not going to happen. And if you really do just look at mainstream science and look at that, I know there's a lot of fear about it, but that's not what has happened in the past in the way that people are telling you. Every 36,000 years, there's a mass extinction event. The sun sends out this negative energy that destroys the planet. That isn't what happens, and that's not what's happening now. And how do I know that? I know that because I have done the first thing here, which many of you have also, which is I have a personal relationship with the sun. So the sun is a conscious being. It is our ancestors were right to worship the sun as a goddess. In modern thinking, in spiritual parlance, we view the sun as male, but actually the sun is both male and female. The center of the sun, where there is nuclear fusion, that is actually the feminine aspect of the sun. That is what our ancestors, if you're of Northern European descent, this is what our ancestors worshipped. They called the sun a goddess, Sunna. And that Sunna means the emptiness of the self, because the sun, the Sawul, represents the soul. And this is true in Vedic astrology as well as Norse mythology, etc. And so the sun represents the self, represents the soul and the ego. So Sunna means self-negation, which, negation doesn't mean emptiness. It means unmanifested pure power. So before you became a self, there is this unmanifested power of consciousness. That is at the center of the sun, and that is feminine. That is why she is our mother. The rays of the sun, the Ra, the ray of the sun is masculine. So the rays that hit the sun are of masculine nature. In fact, when you're at the sun, of course, it's incredibly hot anywhere in the sun, but the surface of the sun is actually colder than the rays of the sun as they're leaving. So you have feminine and masculine. So this is a being. She is our mother. Just like the earth is our physical mother, the sun is our spiritual mother. So your mother is not going to destroy you. She loves you. She wants to empower you spiritually and personally. You can't worship the sun without getting a stronger sense of self. So anybody, if you suffer from low self-esteem, which we all do to some degree, then you should be doing some kind of sun worship. The Gayatri mantra, for example, you can look that up. That is a very powerful aspect of the sun, the feminine of the sun, and the maternal aspect of the sun will go in and give you a more empowered feeling of self. It will help you if you have codependent issues, if you have boundary issues. Worshiping the sun will help you with that. She's your mother and she loves you. So whatever is happening, it's not designed to destroy you. It's designed to empower you. So the first thing I recommend is that you create a relationship with the sun. We do mantras here. You can look in my channel and you'll find videos, 30-minute long videos of the Gayatri mantra, of the Huar mantra. You will find those on my channel. And chanting to that, listening to that will help you connect to the sun. While I'm on it, you should also create a relationship with the earth, because this shift is actually a cooperation of our two mothers. The spiritual mother, the sun, and the physical mother, the earth. She is working together with the sun, and so this is what the Huar mantra is, Huar. Look for it on my channel. If you chant that, you will connect with both the maternal aspects of both sun and earth. So we could spend a whole video on that, but I'll leave it at that. Have a personal relationship with the sun. Just go into meditation and imagine the sun and go and talk to her. Literally, if you do that, that will also create a relationship. And this is important as we talk about it, because the kinds of solar radiation that are hitting us are having a very specific effect, and you need to know what this is and know how to handle it. So the second thing that you can do to guarantee your shift to 5D is doing interdimensional meditation. Now, you don't have to do my version of interdimensional meditation, although I recommend it because it works best for me. But you're your own person. You can just simply go on to YouTube or onto Google and just simply type in CE5, the letter C, the letter E, and the number 5. And that is a type of meditation practice which will connect you to higher dimensional beings who are guides. They are spiritual guides. They are here to guide you. And they are more active now than they have ever been in the history of planet Earth. They have never been as actively working with humans as they are now. There's literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them, surrounding Earth just outside of our third dimension, literally waiting for you to contact them. So if you, by doing CE5, and CE5 for most people is looking up in the sky, looking at spaceships. That's fine if you want to do that. I got nothing against that. But what those beings really want to do is they want to meditate with you. They want to connect to you in the in-between space between your dimension and theirs. That can only be done through a meditative mindset. But don't overcomplicate it. Just go out and follow the protocol and ask to connect with them. I have interdimensional meditations here on the channel, which are free. If you look for them, you can be guided into those meditations. If you want to be taught on a deeper level, you can go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the interdimensional meditation course. All right, so you should, the second thing you need to do is to do some kind of interdimensional meditation, because we are going through an interdimensional shift. It is, look, I know that I sound like your typical New Age, love and light, starseed kind of person. I know I sound exactly like that. But bear in mind that less than a year ago, I didn't believe in any of this. Even though I'm a spiritual teacher and a shaman, I didn't believe in any of this. I believe in it now because I've experienced it. And what has happened is my understanding of reality has been completely, totally transformed. And it turns out that little kids and a lot of the New Agers that seem really lost and loopy, they actually know something that the rest of us don't. Shamans have known this for years, but our reality is shifting, and we have to make an interdimensional shift. This is no small thing. This is something that, the greatest scientific minds are just beginning to unravel the possibilities of. You get to experience it. The whole world is going to experience it in one form or another. So the second thing to do is to do interdimensional meditation. The third one is to do energy work and regular meditation. This is very important. I can tell you again, listen, I've been doing high-level energy work, meditation, Qigong for 30 years now. And I've been doing very powerful. I mean, the stuff that I do is more powerful than average. Just to give you an example, this was probably 15 years ago. And I had just released my first Qigong DVD series, which is Celestial Qigong. You can go celestialqigong.com. You can look for it. I still recommend that, and it's still available to you if you want it. You can go find it. But when I had released that, I started getting contacted by Qigong masters, Tai Chi masters, Taoist meditation masters. And at the time that I released this, I didn't think I was a master. But the truth is that I had taken what I had learned from the Shang Qing spirit fighting, which is very high level stuff, and I reverse engineered it because I wanted to create a Qigong practice for myself, and then I shared it with the world. And as it turns out, I ended up facilitating, creating, downloading a Qigong practice that, according to Qigong masters, Tai Chi masters, Taoist meditation masters, internal martial arts masters, routinely said to me, I've never experienced anything like this. I've never felt anything of this high vibrational nature. So it's not for nothing when I say that I've been doing high level energy work for 30 years, and even I am blown away at the power of this fifth dimensional energy. So there's no doubt in my mind that I'm having the experiences I am because I spent 30 years opening up my meridians and doing energy work on that very high level, so that it allowed me to even experience shifts where even I felt like I was completely coming apart because the energy was so powerful. And this is what we're all heading towards, this 5D energy. It's extremely powerful energy, and this isn't just me talking because I Googled it. I'm telling you from personal experience. So if I need to do it, and I'm looked upon as a high-level energy practitioner, maybe even a master, if I'm saying I need to do this work to make myself available for this energy, it's probably true for you as well. So do number 3, energy work and meditation. Feel free to do your own practice if you want. If you want what I have found to be the most powerful energy and meditative practice in the history of the human race, I have syncretized and synthesized and downloaded this energy, and I call it Lightning Qigong. You can go to thunderwizard.com, scroll around and subscribe. All you have to do is just show up. You'll have members only videos where I simply walk you through. You don't have to memorize anything, just watch the video and do what I do. Just press play and do it. There's multiple levels to it. I guarantee you, if you do those exercises on a daily basis, you will have most likely a very powerful energetic experience. At the very least, I can guarantee you that your life will change. You will become healthier, happier, and more prosperous. You may go through some shifts. That's part of the deal. But I guarantee you, if you follow my directions to the letter and do what I do, you will get the same experiences and you'll get the same results that I get. So that's number 3, is to do energy work and meditation. Go to, again, thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You can also just go onto my channel and do the free Qigong. Go to the playlist for the Qigong. There's plenty of stuff on. Don't get upset if you don't want to spend the measly amount of money that you would spend on a video game. You don't want to do that? Fine. There's plenty of free stuff on here. There's no channel on YouTube that gives you more free spiritual practices than this one. I challenge you to find one that gives you more than I do. All right, moving on. Number 4, choose to trust the universe. This is absolutely essential. There's a lot of things working against you having an experience of trust with the universe. The first one is you live in the third dimension. So the third dimension is, by definition, a matrix. It is an illusion. It is a false reality. That is true. So all of you, if you have felt that way, if you believe that we're trapped in a matrix, if you believe we're being controlled, if you believe that you're living in a dream, if you feel this yearning to go to your true home and this isn't it, you're absolutely right. This is a virtual reality for the soul. This is 3D. We are not three-dimensional beings. Our soul is actually far more multidimensional than that, but your consciousness in 3D is limited to this illusion. So the first illusion that you experience, that you're trained to experience, is this feeling of being isolated. For instance, right now you think that if you don't verbalize your thoughts, nobody will know what you're thinking. Truth of the matter is that that's only partially true in the third dimension. This person sitting next to you may not consciously hear or feel your thoughts. They do on an unconscious level, but consciously they may not. But even if that were true and no other human could really be able to sense your thoughts and your feelings, guess what? You live in a universe that is populated with infinite numbers of beings, and many of these beings can hear and feel every single one of your thoughts and feelings. So if that's a shock to you, it was a shock to me as well. And that is because we are deluded into thinking that we live in isolation. We don't. This is why humans think we're the only beings that exist in the cosmos. Even if you think about it for 10 seconds, you realize that's ludicrous. How can that possibly be the case? How can we be the only conscious beings in the universe? Well, obviously we're not. But we have this experience that we look out in the sky with telescopes and whatever else, and we can't find any other life forms. Want to know why that is? It's because the third dimension is a wasteland when it comes to conscious life. It's a wasteland. It's a wasteland because conscious beings prefer to be in higher dimensions. So when you're in the third dimension, you feel isolated because it's a very empty, lonely dimension. So the only beings that come here, as I've said before, are very brave, adventurous beings who choose to learn about themselves in a very harsh, isolated environment, which is the third dimension. How did I get onto that? Choose to trust the universe. So it's easy not to trust the universe when you feel victimized, abandoned, neglected, and isolated, which is what the third dimension does if you don't have a spiritual practice. And most people don't. Even people who are religious don't have a spiritual practice because religion is based on separating you. Perfect example, you want to believe in the Christian God? Well, the first thing you have to believe is that you are separated from him, that he is not part of you, that you are his creation, you are separate from him. How do you know that you're separate from him? He can tolerate the idea of throwing his creations into eternal punishment. If he were connected to them, he wouldn't be able to tolerate that, because nobody can tolerate sticking their hand in the fire. It's painful. So that is a false belief that comes out of the third dimension. It also serves psychopathic rulers who want you to feel isolated so they can control you, manipulate you, and benefit from you. So it is challenging because on a physical level, you are programmed by living in the third dimension not to trust anything or anyone. And you're encouraged to feel that way because religion teaches you to feel that way. So does society. Society encourages you not to trust anybody. And people's behavior. You've got a bunch of empty 3D people running around who are disconnected from their true selves. They're aggressive, they're violent, they're destructive. They lie to you, they steal from you, they abuse you, they manipulate you. So just to survive, you have to have that mindset in the third dimension, unless you choose to overcome it with a true spiritual path. So you must adopt the assumption that the universe loves you and is working 24/7 to keep you alive. Some proof of that? Try stopping breathing. Try to turn your heart off. So you've got your lungs and your heart are constantly pumping. You've got an immune system that's continuously keeping you alive, even though you do all kinds of crazy, stupid things. And, all kinds of things happen trying to kill you all the time. There's a powerful force keeping you alive. So that's just on the third dimensional level. But the truth of the matter is that the universe and all of the higher dimensional beings, of which there are infinite numbers of them, are working overtime to not only keep you alive, but to awaken you to the fact that you are supremely loved. Now, you may not feel that. I don't feel that all the time. That's okay. It's not about what you feel. It's about what you do. So trust is an action. It is not a belief. Again, unlike religion, if you just believe this, if you just assume this, you'll be saved. That's not how reality works. Reality is based on your actions. And trust is a choice. It means that even when you don't feel safe, even when you don't believe the universe loves you, even when you feel unworthy, and those feelings are so intense that you can't turn them off, the good news is it's not about what you feel, it's about what you do. So you choose to trust. And the way you do that, meditation, you go to the universe and you say, I choose to trust you. You consciously say to yourself, I choose to trust the universe. And that will change the actions that you take. The way that you manifest your reality is through your actions. It starts with feelings. This can be true. You can generate a positive feeling within you, but then you must act on that feeling. But the good news is, even if you can't generate a positive feeling, you still take a positive action and you'll get the result of that positive action regardless of your beliefs, regardless of what the limitations in the law of attraction tells you, because the law of attraction is telling you what you feel is what you get. And that's not what the universe is. Because imagine you're with your child and your child is angry with you for whatever reason. You didn't give Johnny a cookie. Little 4-year-old Johnny wants a cookie and you didn't give it to him and he's angry with you. Are you going to kick him off the balcony because he's angry with you? No, you're going to love him. You're going to say, I know you wanted a cookie, but it's not good for you right now. You have to eat actual food. And I love you anyway. It's okay that you're mad at me. I love you, because you know he'll get over it and you know that you're doing what's best for him. So just because Johnny has a feeling doesn't mean you're going to stab him to death. The universe isn't gonna deny you what you need simply because you have a feeling, unless you take actions to block the universe from giving you what you want. And the way you block the universe from giving you what you want is by choosing to not trust the universe and then take actions against it. Self-destructive actions. You feel crappy about yourself, you go out and you get drunk. That's a way of blocking yourself off from your soul. You feel unworthy, and so you go out and you're mean to other people. You go out and manipulate and use and hurt other people, or you don't even try to and you do that. Those actions block you from your soul. But when you feel like, your roommate, you really want to tell your roommate off, but instead you go and make yourself a cup of tea and you say, would you like a cup of tea? And you give him a cup of tea, even though you hate his guts and you wish he would leave. That action of love then opens you up. So the actions are what open you up, and trust is a choice. So that is number 4. You must choose to trust the universe regardless of how you feel and take trusting actions. Number 5, we're just getting to it now. Take fearless action towards your soul desire. If you want to know what a soul desire is, you can search for it on my channel. I recommend that you get my book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. You can go to michaelwilliamdenny.com, DENNY.com. You can go to Amazon, Kindle, or Audible, and that book is there. You don't want to pay the $5 or $10 for the book? All right, no problem. I got you covered. I read the book out loud for you for free on this channel. I can't make it any easier than that. Go and master what's in that book. Your soul desire is what you were born here to do. You weren't born here to serve God. You weren't born here to carry your cross and suffer. You weren't here to do that. You were here to give yourself joy. That is the most spiritual thing you can do, but not the joy of, putting drugs in your system. That's at best distraction, maybe entertainment, but that's not joy. Joy is what truly gives you the greatest happiness. Mine happens to be surfing. That's what gives me the greatest joy in my life. I have to do that. If I want to be loving to the universe, the most loving thing I can do for the universe is to go surfing as often as I possibly can. And so you have to find your thing, whatever that is. You're an artist, you're a singer, you make pots, I don't know what you do. You serve people in some other way. You're a chef. I don't really care what it is that you do. You're a mother, whatever it is that brings you the greatest joy. That is your first responsibility. And third dimension is working to talk you out of that. The society we have is trying to talk you out of that. Sorry, give me just a second. Somebody's live stream just started. All right, that was somebody I was thinking about watching their live stream and I forgot to put it on pause. So, your soul desire is the thing that your soul came here to do that gives you the greatest joy. So you must take fearless action towards that. In 5D, nobody does anything they don't want. In 5D, and what I mean by that is they don't have careers that don't give them empowerment and joy. They don't live their life, the focus of their life will never be focused on anything that they don't enjoy. Let me give you some proof, some example of that. Now, this isn't something that happened to me, but I absolutely believe it. This was, I forget the guy's name. But he's another spiritual teacher, and he does seminars teaching people to open up their pineal gland, which is very powerful. Just one of these days I'm going to have to start talking about that. But just to let you know, the stuff that I teach automatically opens up your pineal gland. The lightning qigong, the celestial qigong, the Maoshan, all of that stuff opens up the pineal gland. So he teaches seminars on how to meditate to open the pineal gland. And as he was doing this, he noticed that there were these beings in the room. There were these light beings. He could see them lining the hall. And he was, wondering, what the hell? Am I losing my mind? And other people started to notice it as well. Other people were like, do you see those beings? So he reached out to them, I assume in meditation, and he asked them, why don't you join us? And they said, because you are on a lower vibrational level than we are. And if we were to bring ourselves down to your level, it would harm us. And we love ourselves too much to cause us harm. However, if you work to raise your vibration closer to ours, we will meet you halfway. And so they did just that. And sure enough, people were having really powerful experiences. Like people were lying there and some unseen being is grabbing their arm and, releasing blocks in their joints and, things like that. And so the point I'm trying to make is that when you follow your soul desire, it will always be self-empowering. Now, people sometimes have to learn what their true desires are, and that's what my book is about, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. And I say you have to fearlessly take action towards it because your your unconscious mind has been programmed to sabotage your highest spiritual success. And you will feel like you're betraying your race of humans. You'll feel like you're betraying your parents. When you go after what you want, you feel like you're a bad person. A lot of guilt will come up. So that's why I say you have to be fearless about it. You have to fearlessly go after what you want, because when you do, that's when all that unconscious garbage comes to the surface. All of your feelings of unworthiness, of sadness, fear, all the trauma you've gone through, the rejection, will all come to the surface. So I mean that. You have to fearlessly go after what your soul wants. You want my help with that? I've got a book, and you can also get a personal session with me. I've always been able to help people determine what their true soul desire is. You have to go do it, but I can help you find it. So that is number 4, choose to trust the universe. And then number 5, take fearless action towards your soul desire. Number 6, in order to guarantee this shift, you have to stop following mainstream media and news. I'm not saying to be ignorant about what's going on. I will every now and then, just tune in to see what is being said. But the mainstream media, mainstream news is not helpful for your spiritual progress. So I recommend that you stop following that. I don't care if it's Fox News or MSNBC. I don't care what it is that you watch. Stop getting off on following what's happening, what the latest politician has to say about whatever. Stop following that garbage. It's only going to hurt you. What I've come to find out is that both sides of the political spectrum are simply two sides of the same coin. And what happens is, it's always a flip. One side will be the one that's working towards the freedom of the average person. When I was a kid, it was the Democratic Party. Nowadays, it's the Republican Party that's working to help give you your freedom back. But, it's going to keep flipping back and forth because, the powers that be run both of those parties. So I recommend that you drop all of that, stop following that, stop getting wrapped up in who's going to be president, because all that stuff is going away. 5D, there's not going to be any presidents as we know it, won't exist. All right, so that's number 6. Stop following the mainstream media news. Number 7, clean up your body. This is very important. Remember what I said earlier about that what we do oftentimes is when our negative unconscious feelings come up, we will take destructive action to try and mitigate the feelings. I would probably say the most common question I get is from people asking me, how can I overcome fill in the blank with whatever emotion you want? Fear, self-hatred, doubt, negativity. How do I overcome these feelings? And my response is to address their assumption. And I say, who said anything about getting rid of your feelings? I've never said you had to get rid of anything. So taking fearless action has nothing to do with how you feel. And your feelings can't stop you. It feels like they can. It's very painful and frightening to take action that goes against everything that your unconscious is telling you to do. Your unconscious fear-based self-protection mechanism, it's very strong. It's the most powerful thing there is in the universe, is your self-protection mechanism. So make no mistake, when you're taking action towards your soul desire, you are going against everything you think you know, and your brain will do everything it can to talk you out of it. I could give you examples in my own life as well as with all of the clients that I've worked with. So you need to clean up your body, because one of the first things people do in order to deal with feelings is they will do destructive things to the body. They will eat crappy food. They'll eat gallons of ice cream. They'll eat, French fries all day. They'll eat sugar all day. They'll eat bread all day. They will, eat the worst, cheese. They'll eat the worst possible foods they can find, because those foods release dopamine and other kinds of feel-good chemicals. Because the foods that are junk are actually, when we were hunter-gatherers, for instance, we found honey, sugar. Our body would try and eat as much of it as it could. So in little tiny increments, these kinds of things, the body loves it because it was so hard to get in nature. But in the society we live in now, we've created all this stuff, that taste really good, but are horrible for you. So I recommend that you clean up your diet. I'm not a dietitian, and I'm certainly not perfect about it, but listen to your body, and if you know that you're eating certain foods to hide from your feelings, probably a good idea to start walking away from that. When you're doing the 90-day challenge and exercising, your body will start craving better food, so that's one way to get over it. But the other thing we got to clean up is the chemicals. By chemicals, I mean the mind-altering chemicals, starting with the simple stuff. I recommend getting rid of caffeine. Caffeine is hard on the kidneys and the adrenals, and it gives you a false sense of energy. This is why people have to drink coffee in the morning. It doesn't give them energy, it actually depletes their energy, but it makes you nervous and you think you have energy, but you don't. You just have a bunch of caffeine flowing through your system. So I would get rid of the caffeine. I would get rid of the nicotine. So, do I really need, vaping, smoking, dipping, get rid of the nicotine. It's not helpful for you. Same reason, it's a stimulant. It distracts you from your true feelings, and it does horrible things to your body on all kinds of levels. Now let's get into the stuff people don't want me to get into. Alcohol. I don't recommend drinking alcohol. I've never understood why people, like when you go onto dating sites, I don't know if guys do it, but I know girls do it. Imagine this is a fluted glass of wine. Their first picture is them holding up a glass of wine, and they put the glass of wine between them and the camera, saying, look this is the most important thing in my life. This is the thing that gives me value. I like a good wine at the end of the day. What are things that are most important to me? Wine and my kids. It's just like, really? Wine is that important to you? Anyway, I've never been a wine guy. I don't understand it. But I do recommend that you get rid of alcohol. If you want to have, a small sip of something once a day, I can't tell you that's going to destroy you, but using any kind of substance, mind-altering substance, to give yourself comfort, this is taking you away from your soul. Alcohol is bad news. It's just not good for you. Get rid of it. Nicotine through smoking, we've already talked about. Here's the one people aren't going to want to hear. You're not going to want to hear this one. Get rid of the THC. THC, I've made some videos on it. Get rid of it. THC is one of the worst things for your energetic and spiritual awareness. So I recommend you get rid of that. Obviously, all of the harder stuff, if you're doing any drugs harder than that, get rid of that. And I also recommend that if you're following this, see, here's the thing about hallucinogens, even the ones that are done in sacred ceremonies like ayahuasca, mushrooms. There was a time that human beings needed that. They needed that because DMT does in fact create a gateway to higher dimensions. So if you're doing the Mao Shan, if you're doing the lightning qigong or the celestial qigong, you're actually creating DMT naturally. If you're doing these practices and you're not having any experiences, one of the main reasons is because you're on some heavy medications, or you're doing weed, or you're doing something else. This is one of the most common things. People will say, I've been doing the 90-day lightning qigong and I can't feel anything. You said I was going to feel something. Well, more often than not, if I ask, I'm going to find out that they're drinking, they're doing weed, or they're on some kind of heavy medication. So I recommend you get rid of all that. You might end up having a lot more feelings, but you can work through the feelings by doing the practices. All right, so you got to clean up your body because we want to create that DMT naturally. DMT in the fifth dimension, DMT is going to be flowing through their whole system. And the great thing about naturally occurring DMT is that you're not in any delusional state. People who forcibly ingest DMT, mushrooms, ayahuasca, especially when they're not doing it in the traditional pathway, what is happening is that you're opening up doorways to all kinds of dimensions. So when you use DMT naturally, you only open up higher dimensions. When you force feed yourself it, you don't know what dimensions you're opening yourself up to. So that's that. Cleaning up your body. Number 8, relax into the solar vibrations that cause false anxiety. This is important. Again, remember what I just said. I've been doing high-level energy practice for 30 years. And when these solar waves hit, one of the main feelings I have is this feeling of anxiety. When my higher dimensional friends communicate to me, or if they physically come into my presence, their energy is so powerful that sometimes the first feeling I have will be anxiety. And so if you're doing interdimensional meditation and you're communicating with these higher dimensional beings, you might feel an energy in your heart and you might think that you're having anxiety, but it's not. It can cause anxiety if you allow yourself to be afraid of it because it's different, you don't understand it. So this is important. People are shifting to 5D and it's frightening to them. Why is that? Remember that our self-defense mechanism is the most powerful mechanism the human being has. And it's very, very difficult to take any actions that goes contrary to your survival mechanism. So when you start shifting to a higher dimension, guess what happens? Your identity in the third dimension starts to go away, which means the 3D part of you will start to die. Now, this has never happened before in the history of the human race. Never before have humans had the opportunity to go through the death of ego and stay physically alive. In order to go through the death of ego at the level that we now must go through, people had to die, leave their body. And we see this with people who've had near-death experiences. When they come back, they're very different. They see things differently. They're not attached to the 3D. They have higher powers, but they had to die to get that. So if you want 5D, you are going to have to go through a psychological death in the third dimension. So whenever you experience higher dimensional energy, one of the symptoms is that you will feel fear, you will feel anxiety, you will feel sadness, you will feel shame. All of these things will come up, and these are all signs that you're dying to the third dimension. One of the things that happened to me when I first started interacting with higher dimensional beings is I started getting this feeling that I was betraying the human race. And there was a period of time when I, was interacting with them saying, you guys aren't good. You're evil. You're lying to me and everything like that. And when I would sit back and realize they haven't done anything but love me, where is this feeling coming from? I realized that I was dying to my connection to the third dimension, and I was dying to my third dimensional connection to other humans. And it felt like I was betraying them. And it frightened me because we are social animals and we want to feel loved and connected. And so this is why people do destructive things. This is why people this is why people became Nazis in World War II. It's because that need to be connected to other people and feel loved and connected and safe was more powerful than realizing that, hey, those people are human too. They're just like me. I'm not going to abuse them or hurt them. I'm connected to them also. So you're going to have to go through some anxiety, and you're going to have to die to whatever your attachments are, and that's going to be your experience between you, your soul, and the higher dimensional beings. But one of the main things you'll feel, the first thing is you'll feel anxious, especially when the solar waves hit, and you'll notice that this past month we've had a lot of solar activity when people are flipping out. So if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, stop, breathe, focus on love, focus on relaxing, accepting, and connecting to this energy, because you'll feel a lot of energy coming through you, and it's a choice to react out of anxiety or to relax into it. But realize that you're relaxing into the unknown. In fact, I will say this, when the energy hits, I will say, I accept this energy. I accept the unknown. I am expanding into the unknown. That's really what we're afraid of, is the unknown. To live in the fifth dimension is to live in the unknown. You can either choose to be afraid of it, or you can choose to learn to enjoy that experience, because that's flowing with the spirit. That's why there won't be any governments, because governments are about control. Banks are about control. Armies are about control. Police is about control. And in the third dimension, you have to control things. It's just the way things are. In the fifth dimension, it's about not controlling anything. It's about flowing. That's why there won't be any need. Energy will flow to you. Life will flow to you. All of your resources will flow to you. Love will flow to you. And we'll have direct connection to the spirit world, and we can interact with them and manifest whatever we want. So there's no need for some government to supply our education, our roads, our water, our electricity, our food. It won't need Big Brother to give you anything. So when that energy hits and you feel anxious, realize that, am I really anxious, or is this just an intense energy? Maybe you are anxious. Relax into it. All right, so relax into the solar vibrations that cause false anxiety. Number 9, imagine your perfect reality in meditation. This is probably one of the most important things you're going to need to do. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know yet. I don't know if every single person is going to shift up to 5D. I don't know if people will be given a choice whether or not they can choose to vibrate at a lower level or die to their third dimensional essence and rise to a higher level. I don't know. But I think it's safe to assume that it is a choice, because it truly is a choice. So make the decision. Make the decision that you are going to focus on the reality that you want. Now, I'm saying a perfect reality, a completely unrealistic reality, but the one that gives you the greatest joy and the greatest freedom and the greatest love. If you want to imagine a reality with unicorns and floating hammocks and trees that give off Skittles that are healthy for you. I mean, I'm dead serious. Whatever it is that comes to your mind, that bubbles up out of you in meditation about your perfect reality, think about that, meditate on it. Especially when you find yourself frightened, alone, angry, afraid, stop and think about your perfect reality and say, in fact, imagine yourself stepping into that reality. Because our reality, in whatever dimension we live in, the truth is that whatever manifests is not something that's in front of us, like, it's already here and you're going to drive to it. This is what people think destiny is, that destiny is coming for you. But your destiny doesn't exist. Your future doesn't exist. It hasn't been created yet. And so what happens is that your expectations of what reality is what's going to create your reality. We know that from physics. Physics tells us that. The double slit experiment says that light will act as either a particle or a wave depending on the intention of the perceiver. And in fact, it will go backward in time and change time so that it will look as though that's the way it's always been. And this is the truth of the matter. You're in pain, you're broke, you're poor, you're miserable. That's because that's what your expectations in your mind have told the light photons and the matter particles to create. So when you imagine your perfect reality, even though you don't think it's possible, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's possible. This can't happen to me. Don't worry about that. Let those thoughts go wherever they go. Thoughts don't create reality. Your intentions create reality. Those are two different things. You don't have control over your thoughts or your emotions. Sorry to tell you. You do have control over your intentions and your actions. So with your actions, act as though everything is coming the way you want it. And with your intentions, especially in your interdimensional meditation, when you're working with your higher dimensional guides, ask for them to help you imagine your perfect reality. And then once you've gotten an idea of what that is, it doesn't matter, you don't have to do it perfectly. Then whenever you're under stress, go, you know what? I'm imagining myself walking into my perfect reality where unicorns and Skittles fall from the trees, and I have anti-grav hammocks that I lie around in all day, and I have the perfect love of my life, and I live in and the world is now this beautiful paradise. Think like that, it will happen. You will literally create that. The way the Huna shamans describe it is that when you change your intention, then your past reality comes crashing down on your head. Meaning it's like your reality is being built as you intended. Your future is being built right now based on your beliefs, your intentions, your projections. And most people just don't do anything, and they just respond out of their fear and their guilt and their shame, and they unconsciously create misery for themselves because that's where their mind is. That's where their intentions are. So this is the difference. People who just let their thoughts and their emotions guide them, you're going to create chaos because your thoughts and your emotions will usually be chaotic. But your intentions are your decision. You don't have, I feel like this, but I intend my perfect reality, and then you imagine yourself walking into it. Interdimensional meditation is really good for that. You can get really good ideas of that and then bring it back into your 3D awareness and have it in your 3D awareness. Right, so we could make a whole video on that. Number 9, imagine your perfect reality in meditation. Number 10, see the perfection in every person. This is absolutely important. I said in my last video, I said, please stop saying things that hurt me. And one of the things that hurt me is when people say that, we're going into the 5th dimension and all of the evil people won't make it. That really, it's very, very painful for me to listen to because I'm not perfect, and I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of in my life, and I'm certainly not perfect now. And I'm under no delusions. I'm struggling through this as much as anybody else, and so I don't want to be excluded from 5D because I'm imperfect. And so I don't exclude anybody else. I don't care who you are, what you've done. I don't care about any of that. I know that underneath whatever 3D exterior and we're talking like, Hitler. We're talking the worst possible people we can imagine. That is a 3D exterior. He's acting on his feelings. He's acting on his fear. He's acting on his trauma, or he was. But underneath that, there is a perfect soul. And you need to see that in everybody because that's what in 5D you will see that. My ET friends never judge anybody for anything, no matter how dysfunctional or destructive they are. So if you want to be in 5D, you're going to have to be like the 5D beings. So that means you're going to have to look at your resentments. This is where the 12 steps come in. If you've got any issues that can be solved through the 12 steps, I recommend you find a 12-step program. Because one of the things they do is they work on your resentments, about resolving your resentments. And I'm not talking about the love and light crowd who say, I have no resentments. Christians do that too. I forgive everybody, but they're filled with anger. I forgive, but I don't forget. That's a way of saying I'm still really angry. And the only person who suffers from anger is you. You're the only one. Anger is constantly, it's like pissing in the wind. It's constantly coming back on you and harming you. And it'll kill you. So literally, I mean, unresolved resentment will literally give you diseases that will kill you. So if you want to be in 5D, you've got to learn how to see the perfection in everybody. And you've got to learn how to focus on lack of judgment. That doesn't mean not being aware. Trust me, I'm well aware of people's toxic behaviors, and I steer clear of toxic people. So as you know on the channel, I have no problem pointing out people's toxic thinking. So it's not about being clueless. It's not about denying. It's about making sure that you've looked at yourself and you've healed the trauma within yourself so that you can love and forgive and accept and see beyond people's limitations. And if somebody's in your life and they're damaging and destructive, in meditation, see them for what they can be and project that in your meditations. They don't need to know about it. Don't walk up to them and tell them, in meditation, I saw that you were this perfect person that was really nice to me. Another thing you can do is in meditation, the people who have harmed you, either present or past, is you can bring them up in your spirit. Call their spirit to you and say, you really hurt me when you did this and you said that. These are just ways that you can work through. So having counselors, again, a lot of people think that becoming a spiritual master, just because I say we're getting rid of gurus and godmen, I never said get rid of teachers. You need teachers, you need mentors, you need guides. Someone who's been where you are and is where you want to be now. You have to ask them how you got there. So get mentorships, get teachers, work with people. This is why I apprentice people. This is why I make myself available for personal sessions. Go to 12-step groups, find counselors, therapists, groups, spiritual groups getting together. It's important that we connect with people and we look to heal the wounds within us so that we can see the eternal light that is in every single person. I was going to make a video about star seeds, saying I was wrong about star seeds. They do exist. I am one. But the thing about the star seed belief that I don't agree with is the idea that star seeds are different from the normal human, and that star seeds are special and superior and normal humans aren't star seeds. Truth of the matter is every single human being is a star seed, or they wouldn't be human. And if you can't see or at least conceptualize that worst being that you can think of the worst elite person on the planet that you hate the most, if you can't see the infinite star seed within them, that is you separating yourself from the fifth dimension. So that's the last thing, and perhaps the most important, is to be able to see the perfection in every person. So that's it for me, guys. If you like this channel, subscribe, go to Rumble and subscribe to me there. I strongly recommend that you're not going to be able to think your way into the fifth dimension. Sorry, it's not going to happen. You're going to need to do some work. And there's all kinds of ways to do it. My way isn't the only way, but I don't know of more powerful ways and more powerful techniques. Take advantage of the free meditations, energy works, guided meditations, mantras, qigong on the channel. If you really need some help, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the Warrior 90 Day. If you're really stuck, or if you're really ambitious and you want to get to 5D right now, great. I have going on right now a 6-step process for achieving 5D. Let's see, I'm looking for it right now. And you can go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the apprenticeship. I'm trying to remember the exact word of it. The 6-phase. Here it is. Whoops, that's not it. The 6 phases of Ascension, which you can subscribe to right now at Thunderwizard. There it is, thunderwizard.com. 6 phase of Ascension to process to 5D. Go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. You're only going to be subscribing from 1 month at a time, so you're not going to have to pay for all 6 months up front. You will be able to meet with me personally via phone or audio Skype, and I will help you with that. And again, if you have one session with me, you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. I can't stop you from doing that. You got nothing to lose. Remember the books, Interdimensional Revolution. Everybody should be reading that. Go to Audible, Kindle, or Audible and look for it. Subscribe. And I think that's it. You can go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all of my services. I can't even list them all. There's so many of them. Astrology, rune readings, other courses. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see those. Do the work. This is what will get you to 5D. It's what got me to where I am. And if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. And I make it all available to you. So that's it. I wish you guys all the best. And I will see you all next time. Take care.